Learning Objective 1.1 explain the different modes of steering and their usage in relation to weather, sea, traffic, and maneuvering conditions. Different types of steering modes. Autopilot, hand steering, follow-up, non-follow-up, NFU. Ship auto steering, also known as an autopilot, is a system that can automatically steer a ship along a predetermined course. It's a mechanical, electrical, or hydraulic system that connects to the ship's steering mechanism. Ship autopilots are best suited for weather conditions that are not too rough or hostile. In bad weather, the autopilot's performance can be affected, and it might not be able to respond quickly enough to sudden changes. The benefits of using autopilot systems in ship navigation. Improved safety. Autopilot system reduce the risk of human error, a leading cause of maritime accidents. Increased efficiency. Reduce crew fatigue. Precise navigation. Remote operation. Advanced sensors. Artificial intelligence. Predictive analytics. In manual mode, the vessel can be hand-steered by using the follow-up helm or a non-follow-up emergency tiller. Hand steering is used when the ship is maneuvering and navigating in restricted waters, channels, and areas with traffic density. Ship hand steering is the process of manually steering a ship using a wheel or tiller. It's used when the ship is navigating in restricted waters or areas with heavy traffic. Follow-up, F.U. Steering is a method of controlling a ship's rudder using a lever or handwheel. The rudder follows the position of the lever, moving to the desired angle and holding it there. F.U. steering is often used for routine operations and maintaining a steady course. Non-follow-up, NFU. Steering is a backup method for steering a ship that's used when the follow-up, F.U. mode fails. NFU steering is a direct and responsive.
Let us understand the difference between follow-up and non-follow-up steering. Follow-up. Follow-up is the principal mode of steering. As the name suggests, in this mode, the rudder follows the movement of the steering helm. Wherever the helm goes, the rudder follows it. For example, if the helm is put to 10 degrees to starboard, the rudder will follow to 10 degrees to starboard and remain there as long as the wheel is kept to 10 degrees starboard. To bring the rudder back to midships, you will have to bring the wheel back to midships. Follow-up steering is basically followed during hand steering and is also used in the autopilot mode. Non-follow-up. This mode of steering is not done with the steering wheel but is done with a NFU lever or joystick. The NFU lever does not have any markings. As long as this lever is kept pressed, the rudder will continue to turn. Once the lever is released, the rudder will stop to turn. For example, if the lever is pressed to starboard until the rudder turns to 10 degrees, at this point when the lever is released, it springs back to its original position, but the rudder will continue to remain at 10 degrees starboard. To bring the ship back to midships, the lever will have to be turned on the opposite side, that is, port side, until the rudder comes back to midship. NFU mode is used when the steering telemotor system fails, as NFU sends rudder setting directly to the control unit. Let us understand the difference.
Hello everyone. So today we are going to learn about the autopilot and steering system. Okay, so this is the autopilot and steering system on board my ship right now, and we are going to learn how to operate it. To start the system, first of all we need to start the steering gear, steering pump. Okay, so this is the steering gear alarm panel. The switch is here. To start, there is 2 steering pump. So now we shall run steering pump number 1. Okay, I just switched it on. Wait for a few moments. Okay, so you can see it's in the start. It's running, okay, it's running. We can operate the system. Okay, so how do we do that? First of all, we look at this. Right now it is in the off position. Okay, this toggle is in the off position. Let's switch it to follow up 1 or 2. Okay, stop the alarm. Alright, so now we can use the hand steering. As you can see, it's set to hand. Okay, so we are ready to use the hand steering. Okay, let's test it out. Hard to starboard, hard to starboard. Wheel hard to starboard now. Okay, so midship. Wheel on midship now. Okay, so it's very simple. Using the hand steering, just switch on this toggle. Follow up 1 or follow up 2. Okay, and then just acknowledge the alarm, and we are good to go. Okay, we can steer. But before that, make sure the steering pump is on. Switch it on, and we are ready. Okay, right now our heading is 175.8, 175.8. Okay, and we would like to switch it to autopilot. So how do we do that? First of all, we make sure this autopilot heading is the same as our heading right now, because example, sometimes the autopilot heading will be set to very far from our present heading, so we need to make sure it's the same. We press this button, HS. Okay, press this button. Okay, so as you can see, it is now the same heading as our ship head. Alright, so we can switch it to autopilot and just press enter, and we are good to go. Okay, autopilot is ready for use. So to alter course, we just use this toggle, push and turn. Okay, push and turn, push and turn. 2 degrees port side, 2 degree port side. Okay, so what are the other buttons do? Here we have a rudder limit. You can set the rudder limit from 1 to 35. Okay, this is of course alarm. Okay, you can set the limit angle. This button is to adjust the dimmer contrast. Okay, you can see this button, operation mode. We have precision and economy. So right now we are set to precision mode. Okay, draft mode. Oh, draft mode, middle, ballast, full. Okay, right now we are partially loaded, so we are set to middle. Okay, enter. Always remember to change it to ballast or full after your operation. Okay, so that is about it for the autopilot. Just in case, all of a sudden when you are navigating and then your autopilot suddenly fails, what to do? Okay, immediately switch it to hand steering first of all. Okay, make sure 2 steering palm is running, hand steering, follow up 1, and then try to steer using follow up 1. If, let's say, follow up 1 does not work, switch it to follow up 2. Okay, and if follow up 2 also doesn't work, we can try non-follow up. Let's try non-follow up. Okay, switch it to non-follow up now. Non-follow up, we are not able to use this helm. Okay, as you can see, the helm is not responding. The rudder is not responding to the helm order. You see, port 20, it's not responding. It will respond to this toggle. As you can see, port starboard, like this. This is how you operate it. And then you can see the rudder angle is changing. Starboard 10 now. Okay, hold it until you reach the desired angle and then release. Okay, for example,
Astoria told me.
port 10, hold it at port side, hold it until the rudder reach port 10 and release. Okay, again back to midship, starboard. Okay, once the rudder is almost 0, release. Okay, and it's back on midship. So this is basically how the basic operation of the steering system. So as a recap, make sure the steering palm is on, switch it to follow up, and we can use the hand steering. Okay, to change to autopilot, press this button, HS, automatic, and press enter. Okay, this is for this system. For some other ships, you might not have to press any button. Just switch it to auto and then you will automatically, you're good to go, you can sail. But for this system, you have to switch it to auto and press this button and then press this button, and then it will steer the desired course. And just in case there's a gyro failure, helmsman standing here will have to steer visually using the magnetic compass. Okay, can't see on the camera, but you can see it through visual. The heading is showing there. Let's try to zoom. So one thing I must add, if let's say follow up does not work, non-follow up does not work, autopilot does not work, we have to steer by using the local control, which is in the steering gear room, which I will show next time. Okay, if you like, you can pause and read this.
Understanding steering gear in ships. We are all familiar with the use of a rudder, which helps in turning a ship as and when required. Rudders are the principal system for the entire motion and control of the ships. But we mustn't forget that the entire rudder action is dependent on another pivotal system called the steering gear. Steering gear integrated with the rudder system defines the complete turning mechanism mandatory for each and every ship irrespective of size, type, and operation. The steering gear system has been an indispensable part of the ship's machinery since the advent of the very early ships, which were operated by hand.
Here we have a simple hull, and I'm just going to attach a normal rudder to the stern. If we keep the rudder amidships, we can watch how the water flows around the hull-rudder combination. It flows evenly, and this means there's no turning force generated, so the hull should move in a straight line. If we now turn the rudder to port, we can see the effect it has on the flow of water. This port-type rudder has now directed the water in a different direction. The water has been directed at an angle away from the boat. The extra water increases the pressure exerted on this side, and decreases the pressure on this side. This pressure difference pushes the stern in this direction, inducing the desired turn to port.
Ship steering systems are crucial for the control and navigation of a vessel. They ensure that the ship can be maneuvered safely and effectively. Below are the main parts and functions of a ship steering system. Parts of ship steering system. 1. Rudder. A flat piece of metal or other material located at the stern of the ship. When turned, it directs water away from the stern, causing the ship to turn in the desired direction. 2. Rudder stock. A vertical shaft that connects the rudder to the steering gear, allowing the rudder to pivot. 3. Steering gear. This mechanism converts the rotational motion of the steering wheel into the lateral movement of the rudder. There are several types, including hydraulic, mechanical, and electric systems. 4. Steering wheel, or helm, the device used by the navigator to control the direction of the ship. Turning the wheel moves the rudder left or right. 5. Hydraulic system. In hydraulic steering systems, fluid pressure is used to move the rudder. This system typically includes hydraulic pumps, cylinders, and hoses. 6. Electronic control system. Used in modern ships for automated and precise control of the steering gear. This may include joystick controls and monitoring systems. 7. Tiller. A lever attached to the rudder stock that allows for manual steering in some smaller vessels. 8. Angle indicators. Devices that show the angle of the rudder, helping the operator gauge how much the rudder is turned. 9. Emergency steerage. Backup systems, often including a manual steering mechanism or a secondary rudder, to maintain control if the primary system fails. 10. Bellows and seals. These components prevent water from entering the steering gear through the rudder stock and maintain hydraulic fluid in hydraulic systems.